Okay, let's get this out of the way. I can't believe I love this game. Hello, I'm Julia, and this is Jaunty Adventure, a game where I explore the cuter side of gaming through Switch, 3DS, and retro videos. Today I'm talking about the cutest, coziest Pokemon game I have experienced in a very long time, Pokemon Legends Arceus. I went into this game, cards on the table, fully expecting to hate it. I didn't even pick it up on launch because the clips I saw online just didn't impress me, and after being completely disappointed in Pokemon Sword and Shield and kinda, I don't know, I liked Let's Go Eevee, but I wasn't like impressed by Let's Go Eevee, and there was no way I was picking up the Diamond and Pearl remakes. So I fully expected to just throw this in the bin along with all the other Pokemon games that maybe just aren't for me. Maybe the franchise is just going in a direction I'm not vibing with, and that's okay. I ended up picking this up after I walked out of a job for giving me a really remarkably bad offer. So I thought, hey, I'm gonna be off for a week or two. Let's dig into Pokemon Legends Arceus. Let's just do it, let's get it out of the way. And I ended up completely falling in love with this game. It is so much fun. This is a game that when you see it online, the flaws are just so evident. It does run at 30 FPS. I didn't notice, that is not what I noticed being awkward about this game. The main thing is the pop-in and just the overall, the lack of polish, especially in cutscenes. The cutscenes are pretty prevalent at the start of the game and made it really hard for me to get into this one because, well, they don't have a lot of things. They don't have any voice acting, notably, even though they had voice acting in Stadium, which is a problem I've been having. They didn't have any voice acting. The animated models, they look good, but they're like not good actors, if that makes sense. They're very, very stiff. And adding to stiff, they only have a couple expressions. There's no voice acting, and there isn't even like an Animal Crossing noise or any kind of or anything they might use to make it a little bit more dynamic. The Pokemon have noises, so it makes it extra distracting that the people don't. So the people stand there in just sort of awkward, utter silence like some but not all PS1 era games, and then the Pokemon occasionally interject with like significantly better modeling and actual noises. So really, as I have thought since I was a kid, cut the humans entirely. I'm in it for the Pokemon. Just, you're in it for the Pokemon. The designers are in it for the Pokemon. Just screw the human plots. I want a blank avatar and some very dynamic Pokemon. Another thing to make those cutscenes maybe the most awkward things I have ever seen is that they don't have any music most of the time. So not only is it like awkward character models that are just standing there and no voice acting, but they are often just standing there in complete and total silence. So in the beginning, it's really trying to get you invested in the game and invested in the world, and then there's just these awkward cutscenes where they all just are like, yes, we are all eating mochi. It's bad. It was pretty bad. So I stopped for like, after the first hour, and then was like, well, I'm a game reviewer. I'm pretty broke, and I spent $60 on this game, so back at it again. And ended up slowly getting really, really sucked into it. So for me, I tried not to watch a lot of reviews or see too much even previews about this game, because I suspected I wanted to review it, or at least I wanted to be able to review it if I liked it or really hated it. So I wanted to keep my opinions pretty fresh and unique so that I would have a voice for you guys. I hadn't even really realized that this was in the Sinnoh region. So that was actually a lot of fun for me to realize, like, oh, that's why this is coming out in almost tandem with the mediocre looking Diamond and Pearl remakes, because it is a Sinnoh game. This is really exciting for me. Sinnoh is my, well, I wouldn't say favorite region, I don't have favorites, but it is a game that I've spent just a lot of time with, and when I was in high school. as opposed to like Pokemon Crystal. I was pretty young, you know, it was still childlike, but there's a very special place in my heart for this game that I actually played. All my friends at my new high school I transferred to when I was 16 all love Pokemon as much as I did, and I'd been a total outcast at my first high school, and you know, I'd had like 2 friends and one who played Pokemon with me, and so when I went to my second high school, everybody was really into Pokemon games, and it was so exciting, and I was so thrilled by it, and I played an ungodly amount of Pokemon Diamond, Platinum, and Heart Gold. I didn't play competitively, but I did IV Train, and I got almost all of the event Pokemon available in those years. I believe I was trying to breed like a race of Super Pikachu while being kind of depressed and just like egg farming, and I have all these like light orb Pichu hanging around, the ones with a Volt Tackle, and I want to say perfect IVs. Don't quote me on that one.
Seriously, this isn't even all of them. I was not okay.
So yeah, the Sinnoh region nostalgia in this game is pretty on point, and it is definitely, it feels directly targeted at me. So for those of you who haven't played the game, it goes something like this. You start out in Jubilife City after, of course, being sucked through a portal by our Lord and Savior, Arceus. So in Jubilife City, it's like a feudal Japan era little town, and it's where your home base is. You get a little house that sadly you don't get to decorate, and a town that you get to do a little bit of farming and like a little bit of world building, but it doesn't go full Ever Oasis, which if there's ever a sequel and they wanted to steal a lot more of Ever Oasis, I would be so down. Like a full-on cozy farming Pokemon game set in Johto? Yes. But overall, the town is pretty cozy. You go there, you talk to NPCs, you can check on your Pokemon frolicking in boxes and take on side quests, all that kind of good stuff. Stock up for missions, town stuff. You do town stuff in the little town, and it's pretty cute looking. From there, you get to go to various, I think there's like 6 worlds. They're based on Sinnoh's map, but you got your stereotypical like snow level, a beach level, just like plains level, as well as Mount Coronet. It even has the little ash falling down like in the Sinnoh games, and I want to say there's some kind of swamp. Pretty standard, not that many. It would have been really cool to see them have a second map, I think would have been something I would have wanted. Do more of a Gen 2 kind of a new map unlocks after the post game. Still, it's pretty fun for what it is. You can tell it didn't have the amount of development time that something like Breath of the Wild gets. In many ways, this game feels like an indie. It feels like, or even, it made me really nostalgic for the GameCube era. It's very ambitious. It changes up a formula. It does a lot of interesting things, and it really did nail its mechanics, but the polish just isn't there. It doesn't feel like a AAA game. It's not pushing what the Switch can do, but it is fun, which I will take, for sure. You know? I'm somebody who is perfectly happy to nerd out and complain about the Pokemon Company all day, every day, but at the end of the day, I just want something fun, and this game delivered, and you know what? I will take it. But yeah, at the beginning of the game, when you are setting up like missions and finding out the organizations that you work for and kind of the politics of this world and going through a lot of cutscenes, it's a little bit less open to what you can do. Wasn't a fan. As the game begins to open up, I got really, really into this game. Especially the moment I figured out that the moment that I got distracted was like, wait, I saw an EV spawn, I want an EV, I need to figure out how to make that happen, and spent a whole bunch of time just in the first world trying to figure out like how to get it to spawn and how to catch it and all that kind of good stuff. That's when I started really having fun with this game, because it's really cool. It's got really new mechanics in a way that I feel like the Pokemon games have not introduced in forever, and they're really solid. You can do all kinds of fun stuff with the kind of action RPG elements that they added in, like you can sneak up on Psyduck like you're Solid Snake, or get attacked yourself by wild Pokemon and there's a dodge mechanic. Then you start getting more and more ways to interact with the world. You get kind of a mount and a climbing Pokemon and a flying Pokemon who the game's load times cannot handle at all, but that's fun. The world starts to open up and you really start getting a bunch of side content and things that you might want to do outside of the main quest. And I think that just is where the game shines because of the nature of Pokemon and the fact that they've reintroduced completing the Pokédex as a objective that you're gonna try and want to do. You really get to play it like a cozy game. You get to kind of take your time, explore the world, and then when you want to take on the boss Pokemon, it's a lot of fun and it really breaks up the experience, and then you can start pacing it the way you want it to be paced and see the plot as much or as little as you feel like as you start to open up the world. The boss Pokemon are really interesting. It makes no sense because you go into this boss area and then you huck balm at them and then attack them with your Pokemon so you can huck more balm at them very rapidly, and this causes them to calm down. Okay. It's fun, so whatever. I've never played a Pokemon game for the plot, so that doesn't make sense, but it's fun, so we are just going with it, okay? I found them just challenging enough to be fun. I didn't want anything like Dark Soulsy. I did not want to be stuck doing that for a while. It is nothing that is that fleshed out that I would be like, yeah, I want to mess with the combat all day. But it was fun enough that it really made me engaged, and it broke up the exploration in a way that was pretty satisfying and fun. I liked it, and you also see that mechanic kind of come back with some of Sinnoh's legendary Pokemon again, which was interesting. You got to interact with them a lot more than normal, and it kind of felt fun. Speaking of the boss Pokemon, one of the Pokemon I wasn't allowed to take with me from my old games is Shaman, because mine was actually a gift from a high school friend who had like a game genie or something. Leveled it up to level 100 legitimately, but it was hacked, and the Pokemon Home could tell it was hacked and wouldn't let me take it with me, so rest in peace, shiny Shaman. Honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about Shaman and Darkrai being held behind having a save game file on the games, because intellectually, I feel like that's kind of a weird paid content DLC thing, but also I feel like I should be compensated for having bought Pokemon Shield, so... I also like how you sort of spent a lot more time interacting with Pokemon generally. To me, Pokemon's franchise strengths have absolutely always been the character design. There's a lot of games that are inspired by Pokemon, especially the ones put out by Bandai Namco, that are like mechanically and presentation-wise significantly more solid than any Pokemon game. Like Yokai Watch on the 3DS, even the first one has like voice acting and kind of a different take on the plot that's interesting, and everything about its graphics looked better and the combat looks better. And I can never get into it because I do not like the character design, same with Ni no Kuni to some degree. So while everything else about it is solid, it's always like, alright, now we're going on an adventure, catch this hideous old man spirit, and I'm like, I don't feel like I want to. It can stay there. And ultimately, the drive to collect is really what I like about Pokemon, even like in the outside world. I feel like I just like the characters a lot, and that adds a lot of inherent interest to the series, and when you nail that, it's hard for me to quite criticize some of the other things. It is definitely the most important, and this is the Pokemon game where I feel like that aspect of really liking the characters shines. You get to do things like see them on the overworld and choose which Pokemon you always send out to like gather berries and that kind of thing. So I could, just throw out Shaman whenever I wanted and take pictures. I could make him be the Pokemon that is gathering things for me or is always fighting and I get to throw him out. And it's just some of these small things that make the world feel more interactive that really made this game a lot of fun. Since I've always really liked the world, I was the kid who played Zapdos on the playground, so getting to interact with it in a more organic way is so much fun. One thing I really liked above Pokemon Shield is that the battle animations take place where you are. And not only that, but you're able to walk around the battles with your avatar moving. And I can't decide why that's fun. It's just a stupid little thing. You can walk behind your Pokemon or the opponent's Pokemon or stand to the side or get in the way and get knocked over. And I don't know why that's so much fun. I get that I really like the feeling that the battles are actually taking place in space as opposed to Sword and Shield where it always felt like you got transported to another dimension. However, I don't know, there's just something, that tiny little detail of being able to continue to wander around in the battles is something that I just really, really enjoyed. And I think that's indicative of this whole game because while a lot of it's not polished at all, there's just something, the details that it has are just fun. I know it's pretty simple, but like, it's fun. It makes it a lot more fun. It makes me feel engaged. The thing about Sword and Shield that I think was the biggest flaw was that it always felt like you were getting pulled along in a Saturday morning cartoon. It was super linear. It didn't even let you catch the Mega Pokemon, and then it just drug you along from point A to point B, and you mostly were just watching the events unfold. And then in this game, I feel like it was my adventure. It was just hard enough that I got attached to, say, my Gastrodon, Snorb, my perfect boy, because he won a bunch of fairly hard battles unexpectedly. He just came in and would clinch it. And then by the end of my adventure, I was starting to be like, yes, Snorb, like, you and me. I've never appreciated Gastrodon before. It made me really, really like Blissey, because with the difference in mechanics, the Pokemon can gang up on you 3-on-1, and it can be really difficult. So I really, really liked having Blissey because she's a tank. I named her Tank Girl, and she is clinch in my team. And I feel like with the easier games and the more linear games, I just wasn't having those kinds of experiences. So it felt really fun to like get just enough challenge to really engage with my team and to be excited about it. I'm still honestly stuck on the final battle because I was kind of playing around with my team and experimenting, and it's actually challenging. Or maybe I'm just not that good at this game, but that's still, like, I didn't struggle anywhere in Sword and Shield, and it's fun to have to relearn mechanics and relearn what some of the moves do and what works well for this game and just feel it be shook up for once. Like, it's fun. I've played almost competitively on a turn-based game, and I think I'm a little bit over that. So it's nice to have new things to consider and new things that I'm doing to engage with the franchise once again. I feel like this is the first game that brought any real role-playing interest for me to just like nerd out and feel connected to the world in a way that I just haven't with the last couple of games that I've played, honestly. I don't think I've felt that way about any of the modern Pokemon games. Or even replaying the games has left me a little bit cold. I just feel like I've been so burnt out on the formula. I've played it for so many years. I'm 30 years old. That means I've been playing it I was 19, more than 20 years. I've played more than 20 years worth of turn-based Pokemon games, and I just clearly want something different. And even for all this game's flaws, it just really delivered on a different experience where I had new things to learn and like a new set of things to engage with, and I don't know, it was really great. I really, really like this game, even though I can't say enough times it's ugly. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna call it there. Thank you so much for watching me just kind of gush about Pokemon Legends Arceus. It's one of my favorite games in quite a while, and I was so excited to talk to you guys. I've been having so much fun sharing screenshots on Twitter, so I'm gonna put a link in the doobly-doo if anybody wants to keep up on my gaming screenshots. It is very froggy heavy. It is pretty adorable, and I can't wait to see you guys there. That's it for this episode of Jaunty Adventures, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.
In the arms of the